Black History Month in the UK is almost finished. I've not been showing up because I've been busy creating Black history for the future. Let me explain. So I am a writer, editor, and book publisher. I help people, just normal people like you and I, self-publish books. So people come to me, people with stories come to me and ask me to turn their stories into books. This time around, the parents of a British Ghanaian girl approached me saying that she had written a story. And I don't usually work with children, I work with grown-ups, but the mom told me about it, so I'm like, okay, let me just read it at least, let's see. So she sent me the draft. I read it. So for a 9-year-old girl, her draft was good. It was a story, it was a skeleton of a story. It had the beginning, it had the middle, it had the end. Of course, a lot needed to be changed and stuff like that, but I was like, okay, fine, let me do this, why not? Another reason why I wanted to go ahead and do it, like I said, I don't usually work with children, I work with grown-ups. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to inject some color into children's fiction. Let me take you to some statistics in the UK. So last year's, I've got my notes here so that I don't forget to say anything. Last year's report by The Guardian says 33.9% of children of primary school age in England are from a minority ethnic background. However, only 8% of children's books have a minority ethnic main character. That's not okay. There's not enough representation. And these numbers get even worse when you look into chapter books. So right now things are changing when it comes to picture books. However, when it comes to chapter books, that's not the case, not yet anyway. What I have here is not a picture book. I like words. I like stories, long stories. Okay. And this girl wrote a story, approximately 20,000 words, which is great for a 9-year-old. Let me show you the end product maybe. Ta-da! I'm not sure if you can see it very well. Da, 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 da. So this is our main character, a British Ghanaian protagonist. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Okay, let's begin from the beginning. First, I read the draft. Like I said, good skeleton, beginning, middle, end, great. There is something to work with. However, the main protagonist was faceless. There was no description of what she looked like, where she came from, none of it. The best friend of the protagonist, blonde hair, blue eyes. So during our first consultation, what do you want your character to look like? I asked her, and she was like, well, maybe brown hair, maybe, like, she didn't know what she was to say. So finally I asked her, wouldn't you want your main character to look like you? And it was like a light bulb went off in her head. She was like, yes. It took me prompting, pressing into her for her to understand that it's okay for the main character to look just like her. And it's not her fault. The problem is there is not enough representation in English books, in chapter books specifically. The kids don't see themselves in those books. This is not okay. That's why she was like, well, I'm not sure. Because she is a girl who reads books with words in them, not books with pictures. There's nothing wrong with picture books. I'm not, disrespecting or anything like that. But I'm just saying she's someone who reads real books with many words in them. And those books do not have enough, there's not enough representation in those books. That's just what it is, really. Okay, so yes, so that's where it began. The first stage was developmental editing. What I wanted to insert into the book. color black, cultural nuances and stuff like that. I wanted it to represent who the author is. And because I live in London and I travel to Ghana, I know Ghanaian people. I was able to take the job and I was able to do it. So yes, that's why I was missing in action for so long. It's very intense when you're publishing a book. It depends if you start very early and then take your time, but I do other things as well. So yeah, it was very intense. But we are here right now. We are here with the book. And I am so happy for this young author. If you want to find out more about the book, actually, I know what I'll do. I'll insert the interview we had with one of the newspapers.
Hi, Dream. What's your book called and what is it about?
My book is called Diary of a Tween, and it is about friendship. Like, the main character is called Izzy, and she gets betrayed by her other friend, Anna.
Great, thanks. Why did you write the book?
I wrote the book because an author came to my school and showed us sections of his book, and I liked the idea of writing a story, so I decided to write one myself.
As a mother, how proud are you that your daughter has published her first book?
I feel so happy. I feel so excited. I am so happy and excited about it. Yeah. And I feel like I should motivate other parents that they should encourage their children to do whatever their interest is. I find it that she likes writing, reading, and I did encourage her. I'm so happy about the whole thing.
Question for Monica. As a publisher, why did you decide to publish Doreen's story?
So really, Doreen, the mom, reached out to me and told me that her daughter wrote a book. I work with grown-ups most of the times, but I decided to at least have a look at the story. It was a great skeleton for a good story. And I also believe that it's really important that people from minority backgrounds write. There is not enough representation. So I thought it's a great opportunity to present an excellent family, an excellent young girl who knows how to write, who's intelligent, and to do something with the story that is going to speak to people who are underrepresented in literature.
I just want to say that, like I said, I had these conversations with so many people so many times. I used to write for Black Heritage Today. It was a magazine, a publication by Barbara Campbell. She was the editor of it. She's no longer with us, but I learned so much from her. I've had these conversations so many times with so many people, but it wasn't until I spoke to this young girl, Black British girl, who wrote her own story and didn't feel like it was okay for the character to look like her. What? This whole project really woke me up. I don't want to use the word woke. I mean, it's cliche, I guess, but yeah, I'm woke, a lot more woke than I was before. That's the book. It's a middle grade book for kids, I would say 9 to 12. I have fun reading it, to be honest, because I've inserted some funny things into it, and there's a lot of culture, there is a lot of there's color, there's hair situations, like the afro hair situations going on and stuff like that. So yes, please do support this young author. Get this book for your kids. It's called Diary of a Twin, not just another BFF story. Of course, I added a friend who's like mixed race, Nigerian and British, right? Because I'm not British, but I am Nigerian and I am mixed race. So since I'm the editor, I allowed myself. So yes, we've got Bethany, who's mixed race, but the main focus is on Izzy, this girl. She is the main character. It's her story, okay? And this is the girl who wrote this story. That's why I've been missing in action. I've been creating Black history for the future. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being so patient with me, and please support this young author. You can get the book on Amazon. I'm not getting paid anymore. I've already been paid, so this is not a sponsored anything. I just want her to do well. And yes, happy Black History Month, or whatever is left of it. I think 2 days or whatever. But I made it just in time.